What's up, guys? My name is Fico, and this is my gaming mind. First of all, I just like to give a quick update on the E3 videos that I'm doing. First off, I just want to say that I have filmed myself give the impressions for the Microsoft conference, the EA conference, and the Ubisoft conference. I'm going to try to see if I could get both the Nintendo Direct and the Sony press conference impressions tomorrow. Plus, I've got 2 more videos after that, so it's a little bit of work, and it might come a little bit later, but, you know, I am just one person, so I'm clearly trying to do my best, and I do all the stuff on my own, so, but I didn't think it'd be, fair if I didn't mention or did something like this first, because it fares mentioning about the recent developments that, that have been occurring now. Over the course of the last couple of weeks, leading before E3, there were a lot of questions about Microsoft's Xbox One. There was a lot of questions about its DRM, about its always-on connectivity, the language. Pretty much that was the main problem, in my personal opinion, is that nobody could accurately tell us exactly why. Nobody was telling us what was important. I mean, they would tell us everything that they were doing, but it would not equal to something. It wouldn't give us like any sort of kind of like why are they doing this? It seems that every person that says something is completely different to the other. It's like they have no it's like they don't know what they're talking about. I'm spoiling a little bit about what's happening. I mean, I gave the impressions video of Microsoft, just only talking about what they did in the conference, not about everything that led up to the conference, everything that happened later. But clearly, Microsoft has been taking a lot of flack. They have been taking a lot of heat. A lot of people are backing away from Xbox One. They are completely unconvinced that the Xbox One DRM features are going to be everything that it's going to be, leading to a great generation, and that for that reason, they pretty much did a 180 to everything that they said leading up to it. They basically reversed Xbox One's DRM features. Basically, what it means will no longer require an online connection or need to ping the Microsoft server every 24 hours to hang on to life. It also needs now plays disc like regular consoles and no longer place restrictions on trading games. There is also no regional restrictions. It's not region locked, so you can play Xbox One on other countries. According to what Xbox Division President Don Matrick, which was also one of the guys that were giving the conference and the event leading up to E3, was that the sharing of games will work as it does today. You will simply share the disc. Downloaded titles cannot be shared or resold. Also, similar to today, playing disc-based games will require that the disc be on the tray. Also, Microsoft had something in this. I got this first from Joystiq, and they also said that they have previously addressed concerns about the Kinect's always on, always listening monitoring on the living room. But they basically released this all coming up in this sort of kind of article. This is like a press release that basically counteracted everything. And it's pretty much everything that is now at the current console. They said that they received a ton of feedback, and a bunch of it didn't like where the direction was going. And telling them everything that they enjoy about the freedoms of playing offline, any length of time, anywhere in the world, the ability to lend and share and resell these games at anybody's discretion. And basically, they are going to allow you, and this is coming directly from Don Matrick. I read a little bit of it, but this is from the press release. And forgive me if it seems that I'm reading all this, but I just wanted to make a clarification that I did in fact check this all out for myself. It basically says that an internet connection will not be required to play offline Xbox One games. After a one-time system setup with a new Xbox One, you can play any disc-based game without ever connecting online again. There is no 24-hour connection requirement, and you can take your Xbox One anywhere you want and play your games just like on Xbox 360. Trade in, lend, resell, gift, and rent disc-based games just like you do today. There will be no limitations to using and sharing games. It will work just as it does today on Xbox 360. In addition to buying a disc from a retailer, you can also download games from Xbox Live on day one on release. If you choose to download your games, you will be able to play them offline just like you do today. Xbox One games will be playable on any Xbox One console. There will be no regional restrictions. These changes apparently will impact some of our scenarios we previously announced for Xbox One. The sharing of games will work as it does today. You will simply share the disc. Downloaded titles cannot be shared and resold. Also, similar to today, playing disc-based games will require that the disc be on the tray. Now, a lot of this press release had this tone of just as today, like the Xbox 360. I mean, it seemed at first that the Xbox One was for a completely new, different generation of gamers, that first, none of the backwards compatibility, which I think it still remains up to this day, because I mean the architecture is different, so I don't know if they're going to turn back on that as well, but I don't know if that's going to be possible. I mean, but if it does, I'd love to hear it. But in the meantime, everything else pretty much just basically just it goes on a 180 basically. First, Microsoft was very strong about their position. They felt that they really thought they were onto something. But again, like I said earlier in the video, in this audio log, is I do not know why is it that all of this is required. Why is Microsoft making all of these changes? A lot of people think it's because Microsoft wants to control your content. And that is not too far off. But that's a little bit into the conspiracy theorist line of thinking. I don't know. But I mean, all I would care about is making my personal gaming experience an enjoyable one. And if I think that most of these restrictions could cause problems for me, I definitely sympathize with gamers. I get a game and I don't like it, nobody else can play it. But that's gone now. And you can basically lend your games now, and you can go and just do like you do today. And I find it kind of ironic how they wanted to separate themselves and be a new generation. But as it turns out, you know, you gotta remember who it is that you're doing this for. And I think Microsoft, after all the flames, after all the people that were complaining, after all the memes about how Sony owned them in E3, and how they got the greatest pummeling in industry history from E3 last week, according to what Joystiq says at least, and I definitely agree, because I mean, let me tell you, I'm not the biggest Sony fan, but let me tell you, this ain't rocket science. Sony didn't only win. I think most people believe that they won, and I'm going to do a Who Won E3 video, but I'll give you a spoiler. Sony won E3, but they didn't do it not just because of the presentation that they had, but they capitalized on Microsoft's decisions to do all of these things that were very, very, very shady and very strange. I wish that I could say that those changes were great, but if Microsoft didn't explain those changes to the full utmost understanding, I didn't even get a chance to read this really great article on Reddit, apparently, that it pretty much just clarified everything. I feel so sorry for the guy that compiled that entire subreddit about everything about the current Xbox One. And all of a sudden now it's like, okay, well, this was just how it was, but don't worry, because now everything is pretty much how it is. That basically means that the Xbox One, apart from to say now the differences between the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, pretty much in spite of just a couple of hardware differences and the look, pretty much you are getting the same deal. You do still got the integrated Kinect that is included. It's still a core part of the experience. It's still $499, but you can play your games offline. You can download games and you can play those offline. You do not have to be online to check in with Microsoft. You can resell your games, you can share your games, you can trade in your games, and I think GameStop is pretty much the luckiest sons of guns in the world, seriously, because people were predicting the end of used games. I don't know how that could happen with only one console not being able to do it, but it's only like a matter of time. I mean, if I think they felt that this thing was just probably going to be like a catastrophe for the used games market, of how, you know, I mean, if they could restrict all this and it goes well, then, I mean, what if this works? Then all of a sudden it's like, well, we could just do this too. But in reality, not everybody has the money to pay for the games that come out. Even though they keep making this company tons and tons of money, and you get screwed when you trade in a game and you get like cents or maybe $2 or $3. I mean, they tell you, well, you save money on newer purchases, but you know, technically they're making the money, you know, back. You know, when you trade in stuff, they don't give you cash for it. They give you store credit. They want to keep you in the store. You know, trading in games, that's something they're required to have people, them to do. I mean, this is all stuff to benefit them. So, of course, they're happy. I mean, but the bottom line is, it's not really just about them. It's about the gamers. And that, I think, it's not just only about the gamers also. It's about everybody. And you know, I said I had no real problems with the things they had before because, yeah, I mean, I'm always online. I always have a network connection. I think the very rare occasions where things were going to start giving me issues, if I ever did lose my internet, well, you know what? I could live without my Xbox One for a few days. I still have my Xbox 360. I'm not going to trade it in. I still have my PlayStation 3. I got other things that I could definitely benefit. I do not need... it's like they thought it was like the end of the world if it happened for like Xbox One. But here's the thing. Now I think Microsoft, people will see this as backpedaling, as damage control. I guess you can definitely see that way. I mean, this is clearly Microsoft losing faith in this console war that hasn't even started, because these officially, because I mean these games don't they haven't been released or nothing. These consoles are still coming out later this year, but I mean we know the console wars have begun with all of the with all of the flames and everything that's happening. But now I think Sony definitely with this, it showed Sony they were scared. I don't know if people will trust Microsoft, the ones that were in the front lines in the battle and that, but I do believe that people that were doing videos on how they disagreed with Microsoft all of a sudden now definitely have to eat their words, because you know, Microsoft could have just kept their word. They could have just stayed strong, and they could have just gone with all of these conditions, but in the reality, they decided to listen to the gamers. They told themselves, you know what, they are right. You can't do this to them. I mean, we are still releasing a next-generation console. Yes, we are sort of still doing things how we've been doing them for years. We wanted to change them, but we need to change them in a time where people are ready to accept these changes. Not many people were. And you also have to get, this is a suggestion directly to Microsoft. I suggest Microsoft, the next time that you think about doing things like this, get everybody together and map out all of these things and get them straight, because you all sounded like you didn't even know what was happening. You guys were all lost to the world. I honestly really thought you guys, if I couldn't get an explanation, I was still going to get an Xbox One. I'm still getting an Xbox One. I'm convinced with the Xbox One. I mean, I've been faithful with the Xbox. They haven't let me down. I've never complained about Xbox Live. I mean, because they offer good content. They offer good games. They offer great downloads. They offer great stuff. Now they're offering free games, sort of similar to PlayStation Plus. But, you know, whether it's like something that they wanted to do to compete, I really don't care. The fact is that they're doing it means that they care, you know. And to me, this is something that I think Microsoft, would have hurt them. And I do believe that you know, they're putting a lot of resources, a lot of money, and a lot of time to make this console a success. And getting rid of all of that is definitely a great idea. I commend them for their decision. It couldn't have been easy to just swallow everything they said and be like, you know what? You guys are right. I kind of felt that maybe if they had done this before E3, maybe the damage would have been averted. But the fact that now they're doing this, I think it's you can call it whatever you want. You could call them being scared. You could call them reducing damage control, saving their name, regaining the trust back from the gamers. You can call it whatever you want, but the bottom line is, whatever you call it, you cannot deny that it is a smart move. So, and with that ends my rant of the Xbox's Xbox One 80, the reverse. This is of the Xbox One DRM features. Why don't you guys post down in the comments and tell me what you guys think? Are you guys happy? Do you guys care? Are you guys now convinced to get an Xbox One? Are you guys still holding in the same positions? Just let's all share this, because you know, this console war is starting to brew a little bit, and I think it's it's great that us gamers can just communicate and talk about this, because, you know, I feel that they did this for us, so, you know, we still get to, you know, show them what we think, you know, and I'm honestly expressing my opinion, and I hope that they catch this video and they see it's like, oh, okay, definitely sharing the word out there. So if you guys you guys have any opinions or just want to share a thought about their latest reversal of what they did, you know, share it down below and we'll talk about it. Until next time, guys, my name is Fico, and this was my gaming mind. Peace out.